There is a lot of planning that goes into making that one day for the bride and groom as special as can be. For my wedding that took place this past June, I started meeting with vendors, shopping, and planning an entire year and a half in advance. Spending tons of money on a professional wedding planner was not in my budget, so I had to plan each and every detail on my own. In this video, you will gain a better understanding of all of the steps and last-minute details that go into planning a wedding that you may have overlooked as a guest at the last wedding you attended. Hi, I'm Lauren Schmitz, or the newly named Lauren McMullen. I started planning my wedding 2 Decembers ago, and the first thing I had to do was sit down with my fiance and my family and establish a budget. Think about all of the large expenses, such as the reception hall or the photographer cost, but also keep in mind all of the smaller expenses. Keep track of all of these, big things and little things, in a Microsoft Word document, a note in your phone, or even just a pen and paper, so you know throughout all of the months what you're spending. Next, you want to sit down and decide on your guest list. You might have a maximum number that you don't want to go over, and even after you make a rough copy, you might even make some cuts after that. Your guest list is a very important factor that directly affects your budget in many ways. There are a lot of free websites online that you can use to create a wedding website that you can give your guests additional information. I used a website from thenet.com. If you look, there are different tabs you can do, so you can create them as you wish, but this is how we met, and then our proposal, and then you can give information about your ceremony, the time and the place, and directions to the ceremony. You can talk about the reception, where it is, again, directions, time and place. One thing I really liked was introducing our wedding party. You can write a little blurb about each person and then upload pictures for each person so your guests can kind of know who's in your wedding before attending it. You can create a link to where you're registered, so Macy's and Bed Bath & Beyond have website links you can go to. We also had stuff about our hotel accommodations, photo albums of the couple, and then another thing I liked was requesting a song, so you could, as a guest, request a song for the reception that you wanted to see. With today's technology, there are a ton of websites to guide you in designing invitations and save the dates for you to send out to your guests. Just type save the dates or wedding invitations into Google or a search engine, and you will have a plethora of websites and designs to choose from. If you decide to send out save the dates to your guests, you should send them about 5 to 6 months prior to your wedding. This is not the formal invitation, but it is a notification to your guests letting them know that you have a date set. It is especially good for your out-of-town guests so that they may plan their trip ahead of time. One trick I used when addressing my save the dates was to use address labels, which saved me time and even allowed me to reuse them for showers invitations and for my thank you notes later on. We picked our wedding invitations through our tuxedo rental, and we received a 50% discount, which was awesome because they were very expensive to begin with. Wedding etiquette will tell you not to use address labels when doing your wedding invitations, the formal ones. So make sure you set aside plenty of time for this tedious job and don't underestimate the amount of work it is. I used these line spacers when I was writing out the address, and it made me make the addresses very straight. Also, when you are finished, there are several pieces that go into the invitation. So before you use just a regular stamp, take your invitation to the post office with everything inside it and make sure you weigh it to get the correct stamp. No matter how good of a planner you are, be prepared for things to go wrong. We booked our reception hall 18 months before our wedding, and 8 months out, I got a call saying that the hall was closing for good. I panicked, thinking that I need to find a brand new hall in one of the most popular months of getting married. We've ended up finding our hall we liked 10 times better, and then we developed the motto that everything happens for a reason. We ended up having the best reception we could have planned for and loved our place. In a similar fashion, the party bus that I had booked to take our wedding party around canceled on me the Monday prior to our wedding. I found, after looking for countless hours, a better company with a better bus that gave us a better rate. The lesson I learned in all of this was not to sweat the small stuff and focus on the marriage itself. Things are going to happen, nothing's going to be perfect, and in the end, it'll turn out to be the best day of your life.
The hardest thing about planning my wedding has been that I had to set up my own venue. So I had to buy like tablecloths, rent the tablecloths, the chair covers, and move all the tables, move all the chairs, basically set up the entire space for the reception. I think the most important part about planning a wedding is being organized, like having a to-do list of everything that you need to get done, whether it's something like right away or something for the future, and then assigning people jobs, like people that are helping you, bridesmaids and groomsmen or your family, because that helps ensure that everything's going to get done in the amount of time that you need to get it done.
If you're looking to save money, one thing I did was use my knowledge of technology to create some of my own things. So I made my own place cards for the reception. I just used Microsoft Word, kind of played around with columns, and I was able to make place cards that way. So all you do is you use a paper cutter and cut them in half. You can decorate them with supplies from Michael's or, flowers or whatever you want to use, and there was my place cards for the reception. Also, I used Microsoft Word documents to create my own programs instead of buying them myself. So I had them color printed to make them look a little nicer, but if you just play around with formats in Microsoft Word, you can make programs to look very professional for your ceremony. And then also, just for the informal rehearsal invitation, I just used a Microsoft Word document to create that for my wedding party. Amidst all of the wedding plans, don't forget to finalize plans for your honeymoon. If you plan on leaving a day or two after your wedding, you will want to set aside time for packing for your trip before your wedding. Make sure your boarding passes, passport, and any tours or activities that you have planned are printed and ready to go. My husband and I went to Hawaii after our wedding. We first met with a travel agent to get some ideas and planning, but I eventually set the whole trip up by myself with the travel planning websites online. After all of the chaos of the wedding, it was nice to be able to sit back and relax on the beach for a week. Some other options, if they're in your budget, are to include some wedding favors for your guests. One popular thing to do is just wrap up some candies and have them at each place setting for your guests. For our wedding, we did personalized M&Ms, so we were able to upload a picture of us and we put our names on one M&M, there was a cake, and then the date that we got married on these M&Ms. And this was placed out at everyone's table at the reception. Another thing that's becoming more popular as wedding favors is to do a photo booth for your guests. You can have the photo booth at the reception. Guests have a ton of fun using props and getting in the photo booth. And the cool thing about it is you are able to have one copy for the bride and groom, and it's placed in a scrapbook, and then the guests at your wedding get to take home copies of their photos from the night also. Remember to smile and enjoy the day. You have worked countless hours on making everything perfect. Your job is over. Now it is time for the photographer to lead and delegate your wedding party into taking some fabulous pictures. It is up to your maid of honor to ensure that your dress is laying just right in every shot. The pressure shifts to your best man to make a great toast. Just remember to take in every minute because the day will fly by, but your memory of your perfect day will last for forever.